money in here.
Well, you know, I wanted to get something that will hang with that nasty little BMW you got, bro.
Yeah, you're gonna need something for that thing. All right, check this out, man. Right, fresh out of the box.
Yeah.
501 cubic inch,
Nice.
nasty big block, and a 67 Cuda.
Right. It starts as a 77 440, and those are weak. They range from 195 horsepower to 3 and some change, according to what you got. But this baby got stroked out, puts over 600 horsepower and torque, bro. Big numbers in a 2,800 pound car. Now let me show you. Because we upgraded the motor, obviously you start upgrading everything: cooling, wiring, brakes, and so forth. The wiring's where I had to start. You know, I hate wiring. Everybody hates wiring, right? Mopars, Chryslers in general, had some issues, man. One being the bulkhead right here. Now what I did, normally that bulkhead has 3 big connections, you know, they come in like this and they get all oxidized, they're exposed to the elements, they get all kinds of oxidation.
There's
and
nothing
so
but
forth.
problems when you leave those connectors out there, especially the old school way they used to do them. Right, it's not the weather pack like we do nowadays.
And you know how they remedied that? Packing it full of grease. They would clean it up, shove it full of grease, and then stick them back like that.
Yeah, you know, shove some grease in there, it'll be all right. You know?
Well, luckily for us, we got this new kit from Painless Performance Products, and it eliminates the bulkhead, right?
Yeah.
So a huge bonus for us Mopar guys, because you don't have that big a headache.
Problem solved.
Yeah.
Cool.
Right?
Well, let's show them a little bit of the kit that you put in this thing already.
Yeah.
Because like you said, you've got this thing just fired up.
Right.
Just enough for us to come in the shop, start tearing it apart.
Literally,
Add some more upgrades
I
to it.
drove this car, I got it fired up, drove it out of my shop and onto the semi to bring it here. That's the only time I've driven this car.
Talk about making you antsy to get some more miles on that thing.
The great thing I noticed right out of the gate with the painless kit, right, is they go ahead and they pre-roll sections of the car for you.
Right. So you got your interior,
Right.
you got your rear end, you got your front end.
Nice.
Everything's laid out. And one thing you'll notice, there's no bulkhead connector in here to get corroded, have issues with. Everything passes through clean without any connections.
Yeah, man. And it's all color coded, specifically for Chrysler colors, which is a huge help. It's all labeled. You pick any wire on this entire wiring harness, and it's going to tell you exactly what it is, where it goes, and what section of the car it belongs in.
Well, that's the big game changer for wiring now, right? Like a lot of us grew up not liking wiring because it's just a rat's nest. But once you have everything labeled, you got a little chart, it's easy. You just click it, plug it in, whatever, right? Now, the other thing I like is the modern blade style fuses, relays, right? So everything is fresh, tight, it's all modern, good stuff.
And the great thing about this kit is it really comes with everything. Your ballast resistor, everything down to the zip ties, some ends, some blinker relays. You look in here, you got all kinds of stuff from, you know, your splice connections and everything that you possibly need to make this car be a lot more efficient, a lot better. The great thing about owning a Mopar is lifting the hood and not seeing burnt wires come out of that bulkhead, seeing something like this.
I think any vehicle, not seeing a bunch of burnt wires is good. So with painless in these new modern kits, man, it really makes wiring a whole lot more easy. We've got this performance motor here making 600 plus horsepower. We've got to take care of some heat issues. So we're going to do some big upgrades on the radiator. We'll pull this guy out, and we'll show you in a minute what we've got to put back in.
Come on, it screams cool.
This is what kind of cooling pack you need for an engine like this on those hot summer days.
Now look, we're talking over 600 horsepower, almost 700 foot-pounds of torque in the Rocky Mountains. You're gonna need all the cooling efficiency you can get, and we got it from Totally Cool Products.
Yeah, now check out these fans. These are Spall fans. These are their high performance. They're gonna pull about the most air you can through a radiator.
Yeah.
And we've got a derailleur controller on it so we can stage this thing. So we get a little bit warm, we kick on a fan, we get a little bit hot, we kick on 2 fans, then we're solid.
Yeah, man. Well, you get that thing buttoned up. Let me show you. Check this out, right? Here's a cool little cutaway. Now, this thing will actually show you their triple pass. It gives you about 25 to 30% more efficiency when it comes to cooling. It's all about how long that coolant stays in here and gets that nice breeze from those Spall fans, right? So it's going to come in here really hot. So it's going to hit this baffle, right? It's going to come across here. All the time, the air's coming in here and taking away some of that heat. It's gonna drop down in here and hit this baffle. Again, coming through here, that air pulling that heat away from it. And then the final thing, it's all about this exposure, right? It's like hanging out in your living room, relaxing just enough to get cool, get comfy, and then boom, out in the motor to suck up all that heat again. Again, Totally Cool Products, a triple pass system, 25 to 30% increase in cooling efficiency.
Yeah, now you can get any kind of customizable size. So they can go, of course, from 1 inch to about 3 1/4. All aluminum, no epoxy, so you know that thing's going to be durable, it's going to be lasting. So we're going to get this thing bolted in, hook our hoses up, then we'll come back. We've got to do a little bit of wiring so this thing knows when to kick on, kick off.
Yeah, all the time, because I'm hammering it. All right, just a couple more bolts, get snug up, and the radiator is done. Now, the great thing about having a new wiring harness in your car, 21 circuits, headlights to taillights, is one of the circuits is going to be this fan right here. So we've got a big power wire, some grounds, get this all buttoned up, and when we come back, underneath the car, we're talking transmission, brakes, some great stuff. Stick around. Wiggle, wiggle, get out of there. All right, man, welcome back. 67 Barracuda. Performance Unlimited, 600 foot-pounds of torque plus 600 horsepower. It's a beast of a motor, and unfortunately, this guy's not going to handle it.
Yeah, this is some stock thing you had lying around, right?
Yeah, I had this laying around, but we got our friends at Monster Transmission to build a beast for us. Now, I'll show you what this thing is all about. Now, let's get it out of the box. Ta-da! It's just like Christmas. Here we go, our 727 torque flight. And these guys normally stock will hold about 450, 500 horsepower torque. So they're bad transmissions to begin with, but this guy is really beefed up. Starts with a billet input shaft right here, and right out of the gate, you got a deeper pan. That allows for more fluid, that equals more cooling. Inside this pan is a new valve body. And what that valve body is gonna do is always charge the converter, always keep everything lubricated, and the cool thing about it is you can now check it in park instead of neutral all the time. A big mistake a lot of Chrysler guys do. They don't know they check it neutral. You have to check it neutral. And they'll be like, whoa, come on. It feels like it's low on fluid. Well, it is. You just got to check it neutral.
It'll be about 2 quarts low if you check it in park and then go put it in gear, right? So anyway, really cool feature. Let me show you some other great stuff, what's going on inside of a good transmission.
Right.
Now, if you're familiar with a manual, you've got a clutch, right? You've got a pressure plate. Well, you've got 2 different style clutches in an automatic transmission. So you've got these stacks of plates. So right here you've got an Alto red sort of clutch material on discs that are stacked between choline steel plates, and they'll stack together like this, and the whole stack gets squashed, and that's how it locks it in.
That's gonna bite.
Well, the factory ones are just made out of paper. So these are a big upgrade, can handle a lot more temperature and heat. Well, then you've got a band style clutch that grabs the drum. And that's what this is here. And as you can see right out of the gate, it says heavy duty. You know why it says heavy duty? Because right over here, it says Kevlar. Kevlar, Kevlar, Kevlar. That means it can hold a lot more torque, it can grip even harder, and to take advantage of that, they've got a billet servo. Now this is pressure activated by fluid. So the more surface area I can get here, the more pressure and the more force on this band to clamp it together.
Loving that. Here's some other things they did. Now, this is a stock 727 Planet Gear setup. You can see it's the 3-pin. Now, this is what they've upgraded to. This is aluminum. This is steel. It's out of a 4.8 RE diesel truck.
You know what else is cool?
What?
There's more in there.
Yeah, a lot more. 6 pins. Again, it's steel. It's going to apply all that torque a lot more evenly than these 3 guys will right here. Same thing goes for this. Aluminum, steel. This is going to hold up to a lot more torque. I mean, let's face it, a diesel truck, they're made of torque, all right, than what the stock 727 gear setup will. Same thing with the Sprag. Now, Sprag is just like a one-way clutch, if you will. You got little springs that ride in here with these little bearings. It's going to allow it to lock in one way and then free spin in another. So normally, the Sprag sits in there just on these splines, where guys at Monster Transmission have made it a bolt-through mechanism. So you have the bolts and the splines holding the Sprag in there.
Yeah,
really good
upgrade. A lot
upgrade.
more solid. They got a lot of other goodies, you know, from billet pieces, steel and aluminum, right in the right places, doing the right things.
Yeah.
So you can go out there in this transmission, you can bang out 1,000 horsepower, 1,000 foot-pounds all day long.
Yeah, and one thing great about Monster, I know these guys well, man. Their warranty program, the way they allow you to install it or mess up, you can't beat it. They're there for you. Their tech lines are great. Of course, we don't need that.
I wish they were there for us right now and just do this for us, but
that would be
we're
awesome.
going to do it. You guys watch.
Yeah.
We're going to get this thing hammered on the road.
Okay, first thing you want to do is lube the shaft up a little bit, and then when you put the converter on, you want to hear about 3 clunks. Now, the converters for the Chryslers sit in, sink in about 3 times. So the first 2 really easy. We'll roll it counterclockwise to get that 3rd one to set. Raise it up into place and start bolting all the bell housing bolts and the flex plate up and get this thing all zipped in.
All right, normally when you're thinking about upgrading your brake components, you're thinking about stopping faster. Well, we've got an old Mopar here with big, heavy, cast iron gear. So we're going to replace that with a whole bunch of really well-designed, really lightweight stuff so we can actually go faster as well as stop faster.
I saw the small sun you had set out on the table, so I figured I better bring my sunglasses
I'm working on my
over
tan,
here.
except I didn't want the raccoon eyes, so I'm just going to get it all over.
I'm with you, man. Now, you look at this caliper that came on this guy. I mean, that's a ½ inch of just cast, heavy stuff compared to this 6061 billet aluminum. This is nothing. I can pick this up with my pinky all day. Try to do that with this guy, I'm dislocating my finger. I walk around the silly splint. It's
work on those biceps, man.
I know, I'm a pinky muscle.
Now, this is all from Aerospace Components. Now, everything they do is predominantly with 6061 billet material, and then where you need, the heat capacity, the strength, and it's all a cast steel. Now, these aren't just CAD plated, so the CAD will wear off and start to rust. These are all nickel plated, so it's all really nice looking stuff, so you can work that suntan for a long time, right?
And I've known these guys from drag racing for like 28 years or so, man. They got it down. When you lighten the load off the front of your car that much, we're talking 35 pounds just in the front brake assembly, more on the back. You're looking at 100 pounds when it's all said and done. That equals time. That equals ET improvement right there.
No, absolutely. Now, these guys can make a kit for just about any vehicle that you need. So, like I said, big time in drag racing. They're merging over. This is their Pro Street kit. So, good for all applications.
Just looking at the drum setup is so archaic compared to this aerospace component stuff. Can't wait to get this on, man.
Cool.
Now you want to remove the drums, take off the backing plate. All that old hardware you could just throw away. What we're going to put on there is 10 times better and nothing you need to save except for the bolts that hold that thing together. So you want to pull the axle out, press the bearings off, and you want to press the new bearings on. Once you have the new bearing on, you got to press the collar on the top of the bearing. So you want to put the axle in. There may be a pin inside the 8 3/4 rear end that will keep you from getting that axle in. Just double check with the flashlight, make sure that pin came out. It's just an alignment pin for the rear end. So as you're sliding the axle in, you want to get that backing plate just before the axle is all the way in, just to help align everything up. Once you get the backing plate on the axle, you tighten that down, put the rotor and the hat on, tighten those up from the back. Those holes align to the same bolts that mount up the calipers, then tighten the calipers down with the 2 bolts provided. Now we're going to finish up the front, and this car will be on the ground and ripping. Back in just a second. Now here's the big question for you. You want to hear it with open headers? Of course you do. Come on, you got to hear this thing with open headers. Kev, you want to hear this open headers?
Yeah, man. I heard open headers. Come on.
Man.
Fire it up.
All right, here we go. Brace yourself. Big block time. You ready?
I'm braced.
Woo! Oh, yeah. Woo!
I'm dripping in it.
That's what I'm talking
Sound,
about.
that high octane smell.
Yeah, man. Loving that. Loving
Nice.
that.
All right. I think we're jonesing. A little exhaust.
Yeah, man. Throw a little exhaust in there, and next thing we're doing, grabbing gears, smoking tires, doing burnouts.